Hey YouTube, it's Loginator here. As you all know, it is Saturday, so I'm going to have an episode of Roxton the Tier 1 up today. I believe it's either 5 or 6. You know, I always get them mixed up. You know, they're going by so fast. The reason this is coming up a little bit late tonight because I really wanted to think out this topic of this episode a little bit more in depth than I have some of my other topics. I really wanted to show a really good video tonight. As you all know, last weekend I didn't show any racks in the Tier 1 because I put up my top 8 scrap deck profile. As you all know, I went to Sioux Falls Regionals and I got top 8, hence the mat, which is a really cool mat. And so that's why I wanted to show that video off first before it got too old, you know. I got my 3 Quackimero guys up here, the bros, the Trinity. So what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about a different engine you can throw into this deck. You know, I've talked about engines a lot. You have the Naturia Cliff engine, you know, you can run a Deslakuta engine, and those all pretty much just get you pluses. And this is the 3rd engine, and I think this would probably be one of the most successful engines that you can run. And the engine that I'm talking about is the Gadget engine. Red, green, and yellow gadgets. Red, green, and yellow gadgets, they are pretty much they are the first stun deck that I have learned about. So I'm not saying that they're the first stun deck to ever come out, and figure out how to get rid of this glare. Up here seems to work a little bit better. So we'll just move the camera up to this corner of the room. They're the first, you know, stun deck that I learned about, and I learned about them from Robbie Cole, obviously, who's the Gadget Master, who, you know, and pretty much you have red, you know, the gadgets for your plus engine. You summon them and get another gadget. You maintain your hand advantage, and they replace themselves. So, and then you use that to thin your deck. And then once you have your deck thinned by summoning up your gadgets, you can start dropping cards like Thunder King Ryo, Doom Caliber Knight, Banisher the Radiance, and just stun cards, you know, and, you know, get advantage over your opponent. So the reason I'm thinking is they can work well with Roxton is because Roxton doesn't really have a good, you know, just engine that fits well into the deck. Like, you can run Naturia Cliffs, and you can run Deslakuta with Scrap Iron Scarecrow to draw cards and keep field presence, but to thin the deck, the best way I think to thin the deck would be the gadgets. And you have, obviously you have your 6 gadgets that replace themselves. And the cool thing about this is gadgets, if you play them as the stun deck and not the Machina deck, they already have really good synergy with cards like Fossil Dynapachycephalo, Thunder King Ryo, and Neospacian Grandmo, which are also, you know, a key component to the Roxton deck. So you got Thunder King Ryo, you know, to lock out your opponent with their draws, and you can negate a key special summon that would ruin your day. You know, Fossil Dyna just wrecks special summoning in general. The Neospacian Grandmo is like my favorite tech card of this format, you know, so far. Just being able to bounce any problematic monster out of the way is really good. So the gadgets already have good synergy with these cards, and that's just the monsters. And then, you know, typically you could run, you know, your Pot of Duality, your Mystical Space Typhoon, and your Smashing Ground, which gadgets already run, so there's more, you know, combination. And then, you know, standard, you know, traps like Solemn Warning, Dimensional Prison, Trap Dust Shoot, and Royal Oppression. You know, these cards already fit well with the gadgets. So I think it is a viable engine that you could try out with a deck. You know, you could run your 6 gadgets, so there's 6 cards. You could run your, you know, 9 to 10 Quackimero monsters. So you have about 14 to 15 cards that you already have figured out for your deck. And then you could run like maybe 2 copies of Thunder King Ryo, 3 Fossil Dyna, and then Neospacian Grandmo, and maybe a couple other tech rock monsters, you know, just to keep your rock count high. But other than that, you really wouldn't need to, just because you're going to have a lot of good plays. You know, gadgets would, you know, thin your deck out, and then eventually all you're going to have are your Quackimero rock type monsters, and you can start dropping those and locking out your opponent. So, in conclusion, it's kind of a brief video, but then again, you know, a lot of gadgets have been around for a while, so you already know what they do. And I think, in conclusion, they fit well with the Roxton. You know, definitely having great synergy. I always say synergy instead of synergy because I play Golden Sun a lot. But, you know, most of the gadget deck fits well with the stun aspects of Roxton. So that's kind of like the last thing I wanted to say. You would have to kind of tweak your monster count a little bit to fit these guys in. You might not run as many Quackimero monsters, and you would definitely try and maximize the stun aspects of the deck. Like triple smashing gun, I can already see as being like a staple for this deck. So that's it for Rock Stun to Tier 1. If you haven't checked out my top 8 regional video with Scraps, I highly recommend doing that because Scraps don't top regionals often, and I'm pretty proud of my performance that I did with that. Thank you for everybody on congratulating me with that. It really means a lot. Like EMPS Blade Knight 60, Removal Master 101, 2 of my great friends. You know, next I'm kind of calling them, you know, it's time for them to top a regional next. So that's it for Rock Stun to Tier 1 today, the Gadget Engine. So thank you all for watching, rate, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time.